Welcome to the Off the Fritz podcast, honest conversations that explore life with intention.
Our podcast is a collection of honest stories and conversations with people who have learned and are continuing to learn to live with direction and intention, even when life gets crazy.
Our hope is that this podcast will inspire you and provide you the tools to start living with more intention and a sense of possibility and purpose. Hey everybody, welcome to the Off the Fritz podcast. We had a really fun conversation with Laurin and Eujenne of Tiny Easy. So they're our new friends, or our friends from New Zealand, so on the other side of the planet. Mm-hmm. And I got in trouble for calling them kids all the time. They're young adults who are starting a business. Like, they start a business same time as us. And it's impressive. It's impressive to me watching who I look at as kids, but who are jumping out and doing this grown-up stuff. They're just going out and trying to get it and build something and sacrificing for that and working hard for it. And it's, I find it inspiring.
Yeah, their business is really looking at helping those that want to build tiny homes in the tiny home movement do it themselves. And they're doing it from such a classy, professional way. I'm just beyond impressed. The designs that they're putting out are just incredible, so modern and beautiful. The way that they render everything, the way that they have researched the movement from start to finish on what it takes to build a tiny house and to build it well and educated from start to finish. We also have been just collaborating together and
since the podcast,
for them helping us. So they have been rendering our Halcyon tiny home model. So we're putting out our first tiny home model, a floor plan that's set. They have rendered our SketchUp files to make it look absolutely lifelike, like you're stepping into our professional photos. It's been fun to do these Zoom calls and work from Canada to New Zealand, back and forth on these calls with them, really getting to know them. Just their story is inspiring, and their goals and their dreams of where they're going is it inspires and encourages us. As well, we're excited to kind of return this favor with working together, as we're going to help them take their plans, their do-it-yourself plans, and take them out of the New Zealand and Australian,
out of the metric system.
Thank you, Kevin, and bring it into the Imperial. So we've got some knowledge that we can return
and some North American building science and availability of products and nominal size. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's been fun to connect them with others in the movement and them encourage us along the process. So enjoy this conversation where we really just dig into more of their story and their journey of what they're up to these days.
Enjoy.
I love this. Well, let's start with your tiny house. How did you two come to decide to build a tiny house? Tell us about it.
It's a long story between the two of us. So when we met in high school, that was like 4-5 years ago, probably longer than that.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, we both when we got together, we both already loved the idea of tiny homes. Luckily, so that was a perfect match, if that makes sense. And we already kind of started designing our tiny house from then on, and we have been on the journey of saving up for our own tiny house basically since then, and finally did the plunge just last year and started building it in November, I think, 2020, and just about to finish it off.
Cool.
Now, do you guys have experience, swinging a hammer? Do you come from families that, for just two young 20-year-olds to just decide to build a home on a trailer? Like, tell us about this.
I mean, I grew up in a classic Kiwi family, so we were always building things, putting together little sheds, creating building a deck or something. So my dad was always enthusiastic about getting some hands-on building experience for me. He's like, you gotta learn these skills. You might need them in the future. So that definitely paid off.
For me as well, I mean, I've, just like Eugene, I've been kind of doing the whole DIY experience my whole life long. Before we started building our own tiny house, I renovated a caravan together with my brother. It's kind of the first tiny building experience we had, which was awesome. But also just doing a lot of different jobs that are hands-on, and also actually the two of us, we worked with a tiny house builder here in New Zealand for a few years while we were still in high school, and then also during uni. So just a lot of random different places where we got the DIY experience, but also we actually have the technical side of the knowledge as well, because I'm studying to be an architect myself, and Eugene is a passionate designer.
Oh.
And it's kind of all coming together to get us into the tiny house experience.
Cool. Cool. I was wondering about the design end of it because I mean I've seen some of your designs and they're really beautiful. There's these clean, simple, like stylish designs. So that was gonna be my next question after the hammer swinging one, but you already got there. Can we talk a little bit about the business you're building? Because that's even maybe scarier than building a home sometimes. What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
there?
should I start with this?
You can leave with that.
Awesome. Yeah. So. I feel like we're in a very similar place like you guys. We started out, I think, when you guys started Fritz Tiny Homes, I think just the same time as us. But of course, yeah, the businesses are a little bit different. Of course, they're connected through the tiny home, market, of course. But we started out Tiny Easy because we have been doing so much work in advance, building a tiny house, so much research, trying to even get to the point where we can build our own tiny home. And we've just realized how much work there is to actually get to that point. And the lifestyle that a tiny home offers you is just so amazing. And we didn't want our knowledge to kind of just be just for us. We wanted to share it with people. And that's what we started with Tiny Easy. We want to be able to give our knowledge to other people to build their own tiny house just like us and be able to live that amazing lifestyle and be able to, of course, to build their own tiny house with their own hands, which is an amazing experience.
Very cool. So can I ask you about your experience? So we obviously, this is fresh to us as, we're new business people as well. What's your experience of starting that business like? Like, how did it start? Did you ease into it? Did you come out of school? Like, how did you get going? What did you leave behind to do this, if anything?
I wasn't sure this is what I wanted to do. I was, in a sense, kind of lost. I was like, is this the path that I want to be following? I know that I'm really passionate about tiny living and tiny homes, and I'm studying to be an interior designer. Is this what I want? So I think I realized pretty quickly on that's not what I wanted. So I ended up dropping out, and I ended up just getting like a job in a bar just to sort of find my way a little bit, just take a step back and just sort of figure things out. And then I guess once lockdown hit in New Zealand, the first lockdown, we just had a conversation and we're like, I think this is the perfect time to start the business. So I ended up just resigning from my job and, just sort of...
Jumping right into it. And same thing for me. I, at that point, as soon as Eugene did that during the first lockdown, I was just about to start, or just actually finishing second year of uni,
Awesome.
Studying architecture. And we both decided, okay, this is what we want to do. So I've decided to take a break from uni and just kind of push that away and let Tiny Easy take over and continue that path later on. So we both kind of went all in and put all our time and effort into Tiny Easy straight from the beginning.
Awesome.
As Kev would say, no soft starts.
That's my motto. Yeah.
I love that you guys obviously are people that are brave and courageous and are willing to take a risk and put,
Try something new
and put it out on the dream. And also coming through COVID, like I think many people will resonate with that experience because the pandemic really caused us all to kind of sit back and reevaluate where are we going and what does life mean and where do I want this to be, right?
Yeah, that's completely right. That was the starting point. I think we were just in lockdown for just a few weeks, and we were just working on the usual things that we would. I was just finishing off assignments, and I just realized, this is the time to actually do something completely different and actually follow our passion. We've been talking about this like many times beforehand, and we just thought we needed to start this.
Kind of just taking advantage. It's also because we're at the age where we're young. We don't have huge responsibilities. We don't have kids. We don't have we just don't have that responsibility when you're older. So it was a good time for us to sort of take that risk, drop everything, and just see how it goes.
Right. Good for you. And so, I mean, COVID wasn't everything, but obviously it was maybe a little push to get you going, sort of thing, right? Which is, and I mean, I think there's a lot of people who struggled with, I mean, all of us in our own ways have struggled with lockdowns, with COVID, but I think that a lot of people like yourselves used it, for good, and use it as a way to kind of inspire you and motivate you to do new things. And I think that's obviously the best thing you can do. Well, regardless of what it is in life, if something gets in the way, try to divert it and use it to your advantage, right? So that's great. I'm proud of you guys for doing that.
Do you have people, how did your community respond to you guys, being brave and jumping in, starting this new adventure?
I would say full support from everyone, which was really, really beautiful. We've got two amazing parents on my side, and of course on her side as well, who really supported the idea. They loved, of course, tiny homes already in the beginning, and just kind of hearing that we want to start our own thing was really nice. And also our friends, or from my side, from uni, of course. From the design background, everyone loves to hear, that you're trying to do something in that area and just kind of figuring it out. Of course, it's just a good start, and being able to have that support from our community, and it's the same thing for Eugene as well.
I mean, I remember when I was in that stage where I was debating whether or not I should not continue with my course, and I ended up calling Mum up, and I was like, a big mess. I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I should be doing something else. And Mum was so supportive. She's just like, follow your dream, follow your heart. We'll support you all the way. So it was it was really inspiring to hear that. Really encouraging.
That's
cool.
That's our experience too.
Yeah.
As we jumped into this and took the risk, right? And just people just really believing in, especially Kev's parents and my parents, just really believing in our dream and wanting to see us succeed, and knowing that they were there for us in it. It means so much to have people in life that can see that from the heart and believe in you. It makes a huge impact.
Right. I know we all want to be really self-sufficient, and often we are, but I mean, at the end of the day, we all need that support, or want that support, and that's someone who's saying, yeah, you're not totally crazy. This could work, right? I mean, that sometimes gives you that little boost you need to get things off the ground, or to take that step. So, we can kind of resonate with that feeling as well. Yeah, it's an important part of life. That's for sure.
Yeah. As you're building the business, what are your dreams for where you want to take this? Tell us a bit more about what exactly.
Let me interrupt.
is.
Yeah, what exactly is your business? How about that?
Sure, I would love to elaborate on that, of course, just give a quick rundown. So with Tiny Easy, what we are really focusing on is to be able to enable as many people as possible to make that step to go tiny, and just make that journey really, really easy. And through our experience, of course, in the architectural background, we've realized you of course need a really good plan to be able to build your own tiny house, the same thing that we have done. For our own tiny house, we put so much effort in to be able to prepare everything, understand what we need to do. So these plans that we use ourselves for our own tiny house, we create these for our audience online. So people that would love to DIY their own tiny house can take these kind of step by step and just build it from scratch and do that whole journey themselves. So we just try and supply as much information as possible to help make that first move. At the same time, of course, there's a lot of people that love DIYing, but there's also a lot of people that are not really able to do that because of their commitments in life and everything like that. So we've started out the branch of Tiny Easy where we work together with a few different builders throughout New Zealand and Australia at the moment. To be able to offer our tiny homes kind of as a similar strategy as you guys, and offer them as a build solution to people that would love to go tiny. So we try and cover both aspects, of course, in that sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and as you guys know, having obviously are doing this now and having built your own or be building your own, you know how, daunting it can be to start a tiny home. I mean, it seems like, it's just this little thing, no big deal, right? But It couldn't be further from the truth. The way that everything is condensed down, and all those details in a full home are all just condensed down in this tiny little place. So in no way is it simple. So what an incredible resource that is for people to be able to use your plans and your starting point as like a launching point for them to kind of make it a more manageable task, I guess, and a more probably successful task at that point as well. And then it's cool, obviously, working with other builders, because your designs, like I said, they are really good and they're really stylish. And I think that that element, well, I think it's really important for the whole tiny home movement. I think that people are out there building high quality, beautiful homes is what's going to make the movement get more and more traction and more popularity. And it's going to ground it more in the mainstream and pull it out of the fringes. So I think the more beautiful homes that get built, the more high quality homes that get built, the better it is for the entire industry. So I think it's important to have people like you guys doing that as well. So Heather asked earlier, we now know what you guys do. Where are you guys trying to head? Where do you want to take it? Do you have a dream? Do you have a specific goal in mind? Do you have where you want to end up, or is it more like let's kind of wait and see what happens kind of approach?
Yeah. So would you like to elaborate on that? Should I take it from here?
You can go. Sorry.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So of course, we have a lot of dreams and aspirations, and kind of had that from the start on when we started Tiny Easy. But the first step for now, at the moment, we are in a really big journey to make our plans as good as they can be for our audience. And at the moment, where we're at right now, just in a big rush and in a big launch to be able to get all of our plans to a really, really high standard, to be able to really help people like down to that last DIY level, understand everything about tiny homes. That's kind of our first thing, which will come out in the next few weeks and months. But in the more long run, what we're really trying to achieve is build up a really, really good knowledge base on the plan side, of course. Kind of be able to get all of that information that you need to be able to make that choice to move tiny, just get started in that life. And later on, ideally, we would love to be able to go also in the American and Canadian market and offer a similar type of package and plans for the amazing people out there as well. And we've talked earlier with you guys that would be something beautiful to be able to expand into. Right. And there's a lot of other things as well in the future that we are not ready to share yet, that are cooking up in our minds.
Okay. You're not going to drop any bombshells on us here now, no?
Yeah, we really look forward to helping you guys. We were chatting last week or the week before with Troy, and Troy works with us and just is so passionate about building science and just like the nuts and bolts and the structure and the science that goes into the builds. Right. And he has so much experience through his upbringing of building homes. And so we're going to be, looking at helping you guys kind of convert this like imperial system to
this North American building materials and building science into your really beautiful designs. And it's awesome. It's fun kind of working with other like-minded companies who want to see other people succeed. And then you guys are going to help us with some renderings and make some of our stuff look really professional that way. So that's really fun that we get to kind of partner together on those things. Now, let me ask you guys. So we're not in your stage of life. We have 4 kids. You know, we have a different life than you guys have. You guys are younger than us. I mean, I remember what it's like to be your age. So our commitments are very different than your guys' commitments. And fitting a new business into that is incredibly challenging. It's incredibly consuming. Now, I'm wondering if that's your guys' experience, and I know what it costs us, but I'm curious, like being like young and in this time where like a lot of people haven't grown up yet, let alone ready to start businesses. A lot of people are like they're still out just having fun, and they don't know where they're going to head yet. And you guys are like started off in this direction, like building a business. And I mean, Heather's described it well as starting a business is almost like having a baby, in that it's this thing that is, you love it, it's beautiful, but it's completely useless and it won't do anything for itself. You don't have any systems in place, and it just takes all this nurturing. I don't know if your experience is similar to that, but if it is, I'm curious, like, what do you feel is like the cost the cost analysis for this. What do you feel like you guys maybe are leaving behind being young, and what do you think you guys are earning from this? Or do you feel like you're leaving anything behind?
I personally, my own opinion, I don't think we're leaving anything behind. I feel like I've kind of gone through that stage in my life where it was like all parties, you're just having fun. When we left high school, we decided to take a break and not go to uni straight away, and we just ended up just living life, basically. We went traveling, surfing, we've been on road trips pretty much every weekend. Whenever we got the chance, we just go outside, basically. And then, obviously, I was working in a bar, so I was exposed to sort of like the nightlife, where I got to sort of experience how that crowd, interacts, what it's like in the nighttime when you're in nightclubs and stuff like that. So I feel like leaving that behind, I've already experienced at one stage, and I'm ready to just tackle this life, So I feel like building up a business, it's been really rewarding. You're just constantly, and you kind of realize when you leave school, you don't just stop learning from there. You keep learning, and it's up to you if you want to learn new skills and develop them.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I really think when you're starting a business, that is the really beautiful thing. Just to add to that learning aspect, I didn't really expect when you leave high school, or if you stop doing uni, you kind of expect to just work away, and not really learn too much. But you actually learn so much more than you normally would, because of course you have to decide what you want to put into your head and where you want to spend your time. And yeah, it's just been a long journey of learning and just kind of understanding on how we can build a business. I mean, it's Eugene's and mine first business together with my twin brother as well. So I think you obviously had a lot more experience prior to Fred's tiny house. So get out all on the way, and it's honestly an amazing experience to be able to go through, and anything that you're leaving behind from the social interactions, of course, in that way. That is completely worth it, because you just gain so much more, I think, as well, during the business that you otherwise could have never experienced.
And I guess the idea is that we'd like to set up our business well enough so that we can start to take a step back and then sort of step back into a more social life.
Yeah.
Right.
Go.
Yeah, honestly,
we resonate with that. That's our goal too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like, and that's honestly, it's cool for me to hear that coming from, again. Can I just call you guys kids? I know it's like a jerk move. I'm just gonna do it. Just kidding. But no, from for younger people like you, it's good to hear that, because the reality is I always say you gotta pay to play. You have to earn those things, right? And so for us, even with our friends, they're like, oh, you guys are so busy, just take a day off and do this. I'm like, well, hey. We'll earn that, but we haven't done it yet, right? And I think that knowing that, or not feeling like anything's owed to us yet, I think keeps you inspired to keep working hard for those things that you wanna work towards and you wanna earn. Now, can I ask you, so you guys have both left school to do this, and you've seen kind of maybe a different or a new way to learn, this experiential learning. Do you guys have a desire to go back to school and finish it someday, or do you have that in mind, or you feel like, no, this is what I am now, this is what I know, or how I want to learn?
Yeah, I think at the moment, I'm personally at the deciding point. I think Eugene has decided she's not going back to any type of learning institution like uni or something like that. For me, I have still got 2 years under my belt of architecture, and there's still one more year left, and I need to decide when I want to do that. I am still deciding on at the moment, but I will probably do it next year, and then just follow through with Tiny Easy and just see where it goes before I want to go back into the lecture hall. If that makes sense.
I feel like a lot of different ways of learning as well. So I find that the way I've learned through the business and just finding resources myself, like through books or podcasts or just online courses, and finding that I'm more encouraged to learn rather than sitting in a lecture hall or something. I find I struggle a little bit with that, but with the I've actually got that motivation again to pursue new information and stuff like that. So
cool. Well, there's no doubt there's more than one way to learn. I mean, Heather's gone to 73 years of school, none of which she's using now. And but that doesn't mean that she didn't learn anything in those. But I mean, I went to as little high school as possible, and I have no post-secondary education. I've just learned through life, through doing, and through gleaning it from really smart people and really experienced people. And there's different ways to learn, and I think that's cool, and it's important to understand that about yourself sometimes, and know maybe what might work best for you, what might be the most inspiring and more successful for you. So I think that's, if you can come to that place where you understand that about yourself, I think you'll probably maybe have a smoother path forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing is just to always keep learning and keep growing and keep
Yes.
developing yourself and your knowledge. And that's where life gets exciting and where you keep moving forward on the trajectory. It's when we just get stagnant and get stuck in our path, or even sometimes it is getting stuck in a course or stuck in a job or all of those variety of things that we can just get stuck in life, and just to be able to step out and learn how to grow and change and move forward. And
I mean,
you guys lots.
we've been sort of exercising mindset sort of in a way, specifically with business. It's stressful. You're developing this, like you said, it's a baby. You've got to nurture it. You've got to create the systems for it. You're learning from it as well. And so a lot of it's just sort of mindset, trying to think of how we can work together best, how we can push through the hard times, so it's just...
Yeah, that's completely right. I mean, that's the amazing thing. I mean, we've got such an awesome small team at the moment, and we're all just pushing ourselves. Of course, it's Eugene, myself, and my twin brother, and we're just starting to work together as well with my brother's partner too, and another extra designer. It's just awesome to be able to get a good team around you that helps you develop that mindset to grow and just keep going. And then at some point, whenever you're stagnant, another person will pick you up and keep going and say, hey, this is what we need to do. And it's just an awesome journey to move forward.
Yeah, it's great when you can just bounce off creative people as well. You're both we're all in the same industry, I guess, and we're all passionate about the same thing. Where our goals are aligned, and we're strongly on board with our mission and everything. So it's really exciting to work with people like that. I was talking to Laurin the other day after we finished our call with you guys, and I was like, it's just amazing how this business has connected us with such enthusiastic people. And I was personally saying that I'm really excited to be working with you guys in the future.
Yeah, no, it is a cool part about this community, that it seems to be much like it sounds like your office is like the greater community seems to be quite collaborative. As far as we've experienced it so far, it doesn't seem like anybody's holding on to anything too tightly. There's no secrets. There's no, people are just wanting to help each other out and really just work to help people grow and build the movement as a whole. It's funny that you were talking about the collaborative nature of your office. I was kind of curious. So you have all four of you are designers or work within that capacity at the office then? Is that true?
Yeah, that is true actually. So it's a funny mix of designers. So Eugene has her design background. I'm studying to be an architect. My brother is also studying to be an architect, who's currently, while we're doing while we're doing Easy, he's actually still finishing his third year. And then his partner, she is also studying to be an architect, which is an awesome mix.
That's incredible.
I think I'm the only one who's...
So I can... It's not? Okay, so I imagine when things get collaborative, I mean, the sky's the limit, but do you guys get into big design fights? Where it's arguments about where this should go or how this line should terminate or anything like that? Or is it all pretty friendly?
I think when it comes down to mindset. We kind of just had to change the way we think. Instead of feeling so protective over a design, we take it as constructive feedback. So we evaluate what feedback they're giving. If we're getting more than one response to a specific problem, we're like, okay, well then it needs to change or something like that. So I think we try to look over that as constructively as possible. But yeah, obviously we're human. And but it usually pans out. So
yeah,
that's great.
And what a beautiful part that you guys are. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what a beautiful thing that it's you're doing this with your twin brother and your partners, and such a sense of family and community and place. And And as Kevin and I, like, there's so much joy for me that comes in building the dream with my husband. And that's not always easy. Like, there comes times where, like, you're going through the long days, you have disagreements on how things should go, but we've always just set that, like, our relationship comes first, and honesty and communication. Like, I feel like when you have honesty and communication in a relationship where it's like we're always just going to be able to talk it through, you can just go so far together.
Yeah, we totally agree with that statement. I mean, we kind of use the same model in the business as well. We try to be as transparent as possible. You know, if there's something wrong, we'll just say it, because again, it's like the family. Because we're such a tight knit, we can just sort of say things that you wouldn't normally do in a business, I guess. Or
Yeah, that's completely right. I mean, we have that very unique opportunity to, have lived together. I mean, Eugene and I actually are living together outside of the business, and at the moment we're living together with my twin brother as well. And so we work together, and then we live together. So we're always together and doing things together, which is a very unique situation. Normally, you don't live together with your workmates ever. Business is always in your mind, and you always progress in that way. It will, of course, change when we move into our tiny house. But I think that will, of course, be an awesome next step into the future too.
What do you guys do to turn off? I know that for us, that's an important thing for us with the business is, we even find that, like, sometimes we're quite intentional about date night together as a couple, where we sit down and right within the pandemic, we're not going out to restaurants.
Make dinner,
Kev
we get dressed.
Kev makes me dinner. Kev says, like, let's get dressed up. Let's treat this as if we're going out, and it's become a really special rhythm as part of the pandemic. But we've been struggling sometimes not to talk about the business the entire time. And sometimes we have to actually stop ourselves and be like, okay, enough about the business.
Right. And then we'll start talking about our kids. And we'll go, whoa, no, stop. Enough about our kids.
Yeah. What do you guys do outside of the business together?
Well, we do many things. Especially, it's different now, of course, with the lockdown and beforehand. Usually, when we're not in the lockdown situation, we just love being outside in the nature and go exploring. For myself, I'm in the unique situation that I've moved to New Zealand and I haven't grown up here, so there's so many places that I haven't seen. Eugene as well. There's so many places. You can't be everywhere in the country, so we love going on road trips. Every weekend we travel like hundreds of kilometers around the country just to kind of see new places, and we just see ourselves doing that every time. It's just so much fun, just being able to talk during traveling, and then just finding different pieces in nature. In the summer, we love surfing, which is a great way to switch off. It's something I think both of us just really, really enjoy. It's just a different thing being out in the water, and you don't think about business then. You just think about the which is amazing.
It's just really relaxing as well. You're in the ocean, and it's just a good way to sort of zen your something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're talking to a prairie girl here. So how did you learn how to surf? Was this just something from kids because you're by the ocean and you just learned how? How did that go?
That was actually, I think, a very funny thing. We both learned surfing at the same time, I think, when we were 17, so quite recently.
Yeah, we didn't start quite young. We started in high school, and we were kind of just like, we've always wanted to do it, so we just took some classes at a local beach out west. And then we kind of just progressed from there. And we're not great, but it's just.
Hey, don't have to be great to have fun.
I know.
Yeah, it's just fun to be out there and just do some things together. And just to expand on what you were saying earlier as well, especially what you mentioned with date nights and lockdown, I think that's such an awesome way of making yourselves feel like, it's just you guys. You have a family as well, and I think it's great to be able to take that switch off. And now in lockdown, we try and do things that we can do. So go outside in our region and explore a little bit around and just do things you otherwise wouldn't. Just cook things together.
I think we've been trying to find that balance between switching off from the screens as well. We just need a break from the screens. We do that all ways. Yeah. So it's like playing board games or getting out the guitar or something, or just doing something a bit more hands-on rather than in front of the screen enjoying the sun.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that very few things in life happen by accident, and like great businesses aren't built by accident, great relationships aren't built by accident, and great individuals, in fact, aren't built by accident. It takes purposeful decisions to do things and do the things that that grow you towards who you want to be or what you want to accomplish. So I think it's important to make those decisions. Laurin, where did you move from? Can I ask that? And how long have you been in New Zealand?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Germany, and I've moved here when I was, I think, 13. Just trying to think back. It's honestly just a counting game. So I think it's 7-something years, maybe just scratching the 8. So it's been definitely a big while. So I kind of started my life here as I was starting to be a teenager. So it was a very interesting journey. And I met Eugene quite early on in high school. It was like one of the first people I became friends with, which was
Cool.
Just an awesome thing, of course.
That's awesome. So moving from one country to another with like different cultures and all that, this is a question I ask everybody who I get a chance to. Like, what about that? I imagine that was a mixture of exciting and scary. Can you tell me about it a little bit? Like that, it fascinates me. Like I've said it before. I'm the grandson of immigrants, and like, in fact, from Germany. And so I'm just always like, well, what is this like? Like, I wish I could have talked to my grandparents when they were teenagers doing it. What was that like?
Yeah. I definitely would love to share that. It was a very exciting journey for us. I mean, back in Germany, we just didn't feel like Germans. So we just knew we never felt home there. And like we had a great childhood there, but we knew we wanted something different. And it was a very sudden kind of move. I think our parents, they both always loved New Zealand. It's on the exactly opposite side of the world. And one day they asked us, hey, how would you feel like just traveling to New Zealand, seeing if you like it, and maybe move there? And we're like, yeah, we're on board, let's do it. And then I think a year after they proposed that, we went here, I think just with our mum. So just my brother and my mum, so the three of us came here and originally only wanted to stay for a few weeks, but we never left again. So we instantly stayed here, never went back. And just started immigrating, and we've been here ever since. And it was an awesome journey, and I kind of managed to get 2 lifetimes out of it. So I feel like I had my life in Germany, and now I've got my new life in New Zealand, and it just gives me so much more things to look back to, which is awesome.
Just a broadened perspective, right? I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, travel does that for a lot of people in general, even just in visiting, let alone having like experience like in depth. 2 different cultures in 2 different places. I mean, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's
so beautiful. And Eugene, you're a Kiwi, so you were born in New Zealand?
I was born in Korea, but I came here when I was a baby. So
yeah, again, like I say, I find the story, the immigrant story, is like such a fascinating one. I feel like there's very few people in the world where there might be more to learn from sometimes than immigrants who have, like you said, have two full perspectives of different places. And I mean, to get into those stories as to why people made that decision to leave and how they feel about this, I think there's just a wealth of interesting stories there. And I like talking to people about that sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules to chat with us.
Yeah.
Man, I'd love to have you on the podcast again and just start to explore even more things. And we're excited to watch your business grow.
Absolutely.
We've had a real connection with you guys, and we're just excited for where you're headed, and honestly wish you all the best. And we're excited to be a part of your journey too, and offer you support and help as you grow, and
as you're offering it back to us as well. It's a pretty fun way to do business.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
I wanted to say thank you as well. I mean, I really appreciate this opportunity to talk a little bit more with you guys. You have such an amazing perspective, and the way you guys live life is just being able to kind of hear a little bit more about it. I mean, we follow everything you do every single day, and just love to see what you guys get up to and what you share on your Instagram. And I just love your journey, and it's just another thing that just keeps us going to see, some awesome people like you guys out literally also on the other side of the world. And
yeah, well, thanks guys. Thanks a lot. Okay, well, in wrap up, Heather wants to ask.
Yeah, we're wrapping up all the podcasts. I asked the same question. You can answer it as deep or as light as you like. What is bringing you both joy these days?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. I honestly think it's our journey together. Probably.
Like the experience. I think that's what's bringing joy at the moment. It's just learning new things every day. It's never the same. It's never boring. Like, there's always some kind of something coming up, and we're like, okay, let's just take that on.
Yeah, like this, for example. We've never had a podcast with anyone, and that is an awesome experience. So that's just such a big joy, just being able to experience new things and meet new people every day. And of course, that will probably change of what brings us joy in the future. But that's it for us for now. I'd say.
Yeah.
Right on. I love that answer. Well, hey guys, thank you so much. I joke and I call you kids, but it seems like you guys are wise beyond your years. You're off to an incredible start. It's exciting to see where you guys are going to head in business and in life and just as people. And so thank you very much for doing this. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Likewise, have an amazing journey ahead, and love to see what you guys do with your business as well.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know that I did. Again, I just find it inspiring to watch people, I don't care what age they are, whether it's 20 or 40 or 80, just making a decision and going out and getting it and putting the work in and taking the risk and having the courage to go out and build something or follow a path. So I appreciate that. I hope you guys did as well.
Yeah, and for more information on the team at Tiny Easy, it's Laurin and his twin brother Till and their partners Eugene and Emma. Check them out on Instagram at Tiny Easy or on their website, tinyeasy.co. You will be blown away by the designs that this young team is putting out there. They're killing it. They're crushing it in the tiny home movement. So much information. Their website is a wealth of information. So,
check them out.
Check them out.
Thanks, guys.